Hello everybody and welcome to your Hachiman guide. We'll be playing Hachiman over in the duo lane. While you can play Hachi mid, he really should be played in duo. That is where he thrives. So we're gonna be buying Hunter's Blessing, tier 1 going into our Devo gloves, a purification beads, and I like 3 health potions, 1 multi-pot on Hachi. You don't really need any mana sustain on Hachi because of his passive, which we'll go right into. Hachiman grows stronger as he lands his blows, hitting enemies with basic attacks, energizes them, granting him a stack of MP5, stacks up to 5 times, and that's 2 plus 0.3 MP5 per level. So you basically will always have your mana. That combined with the Hunter's Blessing, no problemo. I like to grab 1 multi-pot just to be able to have the multi-potion and the regular health potion proccing at the same time for the extra sustain if I feel like I need it in like a 1v1 situation to try to stay alive with just that little bit of extra HP. The ability that we are going to get level 1 on our Hachi is our 2. This is our lane clear ability, and it'll be the ability that we max out first. This ability has a fun little unique targeter. It is a octagon. For all intents and purposes, it basically works as a circle, but it is technically like a little octagon-y shape, which is fun. This ability is going to come down at a target location that you choose, and it is going to do damage to those that are inside of the area. And it also is going to increase Hachi's attack speed when you use the ability. Not only is it going to increase Hachi's attack speed when you use the ability, it is also going to increase it yet again if you're standing inside this ability. So you gain attack speed for using it, and you gain attack speed for standing inside it. Your allies will also gain this attack speed for standing inside of it. So when you use it, right off the bat, you're going to watch a little buff on me, and if I go stand in the range, you can see another buff on me. So Hachi can get 2 times the attack speed from this ability, and your friends will only get 1 times the attack speed if they're standing in that area. This is why we buy that multi-pot, so I can have the health potion and that multi-potion proccing right now for maximum sustaining effort. The ability that we got at level 2 was our 3. Our 3 is our getaway skill on Hachiman. It is a short little dash, but it is also a potential stun, making it a very, very good aggressive ability as well. So while it's only a short range little dash, it can also be a stun if you hit both parts of this dash. This dash is broken out into 2 individual sections. The dash, that little line right there, as well as the circle after the dash. So if you hit somebody with the line and the circle of this ability, so the damage procs twice, then you will get that 1 second stun. Your middle tower is under attack. Mediocre ability as far as getaways go, but pretty good for hunter initiations. We're not gonna get our 1 for a little bit here. You'll see kind of how this goes down. Hachiman's 1 extends the range of your auto attacks, and it also gives you slight bonus damage, a little bit more if the target is farther away. If they're closer, it's a little bit less damage, and in fact, at level 1, it's even no bonus damage. Literally, this is just making you have a big, fat, long-range auto with a slight amount of bonus damage. Nothing too special to it. In the later stages of the game, it's great for poking enemies before like fights breaks out, but in the early stages of the game, it's honestly not that relevant for us. So I am not going to put a point into it at level 4. I'm going to hold my point, and then at level 5, I'm going to get a point in my ultimate and my 2 again. Our level order on Hachi is going to be 4, 2, 3, 1. It seems a little bit strange for a lot of people to rank up that dash before you rank up the 1, but really that 1 is just not that crazy of an ability. Gonna throw down my ulti right there to pick up the Jingwei, and now I put another point into my 2. So with our ultimate on Hachi, you got to see it just a little bit right there. That was a really good Sylvanas pull, so I'm gonna follow up with a stun on that. Our ultimate, we hop onto a horse, kind of like how Guan Yu hops onto a horse. In fact, his horse handles exactly the same as Guan Yu's does. So if you hop on the horse, you can basically hold down the S key to go slower. W makes you go faster. Type situation there. You will have a giant cone targeter. If there's an enemy inside of that cone targeter, you can left click and shoot an arrow at them. That arrow will do a bunch of damage as well as slow them for 1.5 seconds. So you are CC immune while using this ability. So you can't be CC'd out of it. But one thing you should know about Hachi's horse is that what you fire is an actual projectile. So most ultis don't, like, the way that the ulti works, it feels like it's a lock-on, and it's like a half lock-on. So what I mean is, when you shoot that person within the cone, your arrow that you shoot at them is going to lock on. But if they get behind a wall, your arrow will hit the wall and not actually do damage to the target. It is susceptible to being blocked after it is fired. So if somebody's behind a wall, you won't be able to target them at all with the ability. If somebody is standing in front of you and they're gonna get hit by it regular, but then they like dash behind a wall, that your ultimate will once again miss. I see a lot of people get confused on why their Hachi ult didn't hit even though they were clearly in the targeter. It's because the actual projectile itself can be blocked after it is used. So I'm gonna show you guys that targeter really quick. That means it's gonna hit the person. If he were to dash behind a wall, in between firing it and it hitting him, the wall would block it. I honestly should have backed a long time ago, but I got a little bit distracted explaining. So we're gonna back up, get our Devo gloves. Always get Devo gloves in the duo lane. When you're playing hunters in the mid lane, you tend to go the transcendent start because you really need to get the damage going, but over in the duo lane, it's AFK Farm City, so get the Devo gloves for the lifesteal and the poke. So for that Hachiman ult interaction, that wall can also be player-made walls, so something like a Ymir wall, an Anne, her pillar. All of these can stop Hachi ultimate in its tracks, so just be aware of that. For our build on Hachi, it's going to be a pretty standard hunter build right now. That is going to mean we're going to get our Devo gloves for sustain. I'm going to go into a warrior tabi, and then I'm going to get a third item crit going to start building up my stacks on rage with a fourth item's Atalanta's bow. If you don't want to go the crit, that's fine. I don't think crit is mandatory, but I do think it's very good, and it factors into my play style that I like, which is a little bit more aggressive. If you want to get the Atalanta's bow third, you can get the Atalanta's bow third and go like a more traditional, like Kin's auto-attacky type build. That is also fine. Gotta be careful for the Jingwei ulti because that will actually kill me, so I gotta stand back a little bit here. Of course, the Athena ult got some good poke right there, and now we're gonna back it up with a warrior tabi, getting a ward as well to help give us some vision.
Enemies behind us. Enemy ultimate down.
Our standard combo on Hachiman is straightforward. We throw out our 2 to start a fight on our target, so we get a little damage on them, which is going to buff our attack speed. We move forward with our dash to try and stun the target. that we just threw in R2. And now we are standing inside of R2, getting the bonus attack speed on our attack speed. Just like this. 2, 3, they are stunned. I've got bonus attack speed on my attack speed. And that is your standard combo on Hachi. Forces her away just a little bit. I'm going to use my ultimate here defensively. I'm going to turn around in the last second. So I use my Hachi all right there to give me a large space between me and the Nemesis. And then right at the very end of the ulti, when I knew there was a little bit of time left, I turn around really quick in order to get my damaging shot off. And then I could re-engage on the fight. If I was afraid that the Nemesis was going to completely chase me down, I could have not turned around for the damage, but I saw that my team was coming to help, so I could turn around after all of that and still get the damage off from my ulti, even though I used it defensively at first. You can see at level 10, we still don't have a point in our 1. That's because the 1 is pretty bad, but the rest of Hachi's abilities are good. If you need to put a point into the 1 earlier in the game to secure a kill, I don't hate that. Sometimes the target's running away and they are very, very low. And then if you would have put a point in your 1, you can grab that final hit. That's fine if you end up in that situation. I did not end up in that situation this game, so I didn't have to worry about leveling up my 1 at all. Right now, I'm going to throw down my 2 on top of myself. This is going to give me the bonus attack speed twice, which I'm going to use to be split pushing this tower. So I got about 700 damage on the tower right there. Feel free to throw down your 2 at your feet, particularly when doing things like objectives, when doing things like split pushing towers, because it's going to give you that bonus attack speed, which is awesome for slaying it as fast as possible. Hachi's 2 gives upwards of 30% attack speed. It's another one of the reasons why I'm not concerned about attack speed boots on Hachi. I'm going to have 30% attack speed already built into my kit. Plus, I've got the Hunter's Blessing, so I've already got so much attack speed going for me. Playing this back just a little bit, I want to ulti everybody here, so I'm kind of waiting for them to come back down towards me. We're going to throw my 2 and my ulti on all 3. But a good shell comes out from Athena in order to basically nullify all of that damage. But I was holding that ulti until I could get all 3 of them inside of that and go for a kill. Now that we got our 2 and our 3 all the way ranked up, it's gonna be finally time for us to get our 1 after we get that 3rd point in our ulti, and then we'll start getting those extended autos out. So over in the duo lane, with Hachi, with really all hunters, you're just farming, man. You're not doing anything too crazy. You're literally just trying to get your Devo gloves stacked. You're trying to get those last hits on the minions, maximizing your farm in the jungle. Maybe you rotate over, grab yourself the oracles to get some vision on the Gold Fury. Maybe you buy a sentry ward, throw it down on the Gold Fury to help out your team. But for the most part, you're taking those 1v1 fights with the hunter over in duo. This is why the Devo gloves is so important, because we need to have the sustain in order to keep taking those trades. For Hachiman's good and bad matchups, Hachiman is a very, very overall neutral hunter. He doesn't actually, I wouldn't say that he particularly thrives against anybody, but I would also say that he doesn't have a deficit against anybody. He's a very unique hunter in that regard. A lot of people consider his kit to be pretty basic, and it's a little bit basic, but just because it's basic doesn't mean it's not good. Hachi is a very safe hunter pick, especially if you're worried about going against a certain type of character. Maybe you're going against a god and you're not sure who does good against them. Hachi always has okay matchups. Like I said, there's nothing that he absolutely does great against, and there's nothing that he gets crushed by. He's a pretty neutral hunter in that regard. So you don't need to really be worrying about the matchups. I actually like Hachi the most when you're not sure what to pick. You're like, I don't really think my god that I wanted to play this round is gonna be good here, and now I'm panicking. What do I pick? Go ahead, lock in the Hachi. You'll AFK in the lane, you get some crit, it's all good. No matter what you're going against, magical ADC, mage, hunter, you're gonna be fine over in the duo lane. Plus you've got a couple of escape skills as well.
On my way.
All around very balanced character. So he's not a counter pick. You're not like, ooh, they picked this, so I'm gonna pick Hachi. That's not what Hachi is for. His biggest strength is the fact that he doesn't have any big weaknesses. Gonna try to get myself over to this fight. Hopefully the Nemesis is still down. Couple people over here low, but I'm just gonna grab these waves. I got my rage stack so I can start getting I got my rage bot so I can start getting it stacked. And fourth, we're gonna get Atalanta's bow. No matter what you're building on hunters, please build Atalanta's bow. I do consider it one of the best items in Smite right now. It is the Ring of Hecate for magical ADCs, in that you just buy it no matter what, right? Like, it doesn't really matter what magical ADC you're playing, you're gonna buy a Ring of Hecate just because the stats are so dang good. Same thing for Atalanta's bow on hunters. The stats are just so dang good that you're going to buy the item. There is 4 people over here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start my waddling. They're gonna be able to chase me down, I imagine. I'm gonna have my beads at the ready. Nem's gonna be able to get in range. I'm gonna try to dash, but not gonna be able to get out of that one. Nemesis being a very fast and very strong god in this meta. Very, very strong. So now we're gonna start working on our Atalanta's bow. Gonna start getting that penetration online and all of the amazing stats, the attack speed that it brings, the pen, and that half hasten fatalis effect on our hunter when getting a kill or an assist. In our team fights on Hachi, we're mostly looking to stand in the back line. The one thing with Hachi that you have to be aware of that's a little bit different than other hunters is his ultimate can be used aggressively for big 5-man ultis, sometimes to start off a fight. So while on almost all hunters, you're going to be standing in the background, chilling out, waiting for somebody else to initiate for you. If you're like standing at a tier 2 tower line and you see 5 of them right there, you can quickly hop on the horse and left click. And if you can get like 4 or 5 people with a big nuke to start off the fight and a slow, that can really help out the rest of your team going in with the follow-up on that. So most hunters, you're waiting for your team to initiate. And while on Hachi, you are going to be waiting for the most part for your team to initiate. Every once in a while, you're gonna see that dream ulti pop up where you're gonna wanna just go ahead and take that fight so that you can get a big burst damage off and hopefully win a fight that maybe you weren't gonna win otherwise. So now that we actually have Hachi 1, you can kind of see it come out. It extends that range on your auto attack, which helps you get out some poke before a fight really begins. Continuously using my 2 and my 3 together so I can be dashing into that range. Finally got myself a crit with that rage, which allows me to pick up the Jingwei. If she continued to try to get away, I could pop my 1 so you can see that extended range that you get on the auto attacks compared to normal. Your auto attacks with the extended range on the 1 will not work on towers. I can see everybody's minds going to work. That is unfortunately not how it works. So you have to you can't be attacking those towers from outside of their range to get the damage on. You used to be able to right when Hachi was released, and then they were like, oh no, what have we done to this beautiful game? And they took that out, so you cannot use it for that. Outside of that extended auto range, all the Hachi 1 does is give you a little bit of extra damage. That is all it does. 0 to 15 damage if they are beyond 55 meters, and damage 10 to 25 if they are within that range. So a little bit more damage if they are close range than if they are far range. So for the most part, not super relevant. But is good at, like I said, getting poke at the start of a fight or grabbing a kill as it's trying to run away out of your range. The only Hachi ability that goes through walls is his 2. So you can throw his 2 over walls. You cannot dash through the walls. You cannot ulti through the walls. And you cannot 1 through the walls. So only the Hachi 2 gonna be able to go over walls, which means that walls are pretty detrimental to Hachi. When you are trying to get your fights off, you're definitely looking for Hachi fighting in the lane. Laning phase fights are much, much, much better for Hachi. It also means that there's less walls around. So Hachi ultimate is kind of scary to use in the jungle because it's so easy for somebody to just get right around a wall when there's that many around them. He prefers fighting in the lane where there's this big open space where he can just start blasting with his ulti, where he can poke freely with his 1. So try to fight in the lane when at all possible with Hachi. Even areas like the fire giant start to get a little troublesome because of all those little itty bitty pillars. It means that people can just quickly hop around them. The good news is that Hachi ulti does standardly fire pretty fast. The bad news is if you're on the horse for too long, it's very obvious that you're trying to shoot it. So if you hop on the horse and immediately shoot it, so the projectile goes out quick, you can sometimes catch people before they can react. But if you're like riding around on the pony for a solid second, nobody's gonna be surprised when a big fat arrow comes out because you were trying to get set up to shoot them.
An enemy has been slain.
One thing on the Hachi ult though is you don't have to use it right away. So you've seen me use it as a getaway skill. You can also use it as a chasing ability. If you want to chase somebody like down the lane in your 1v1, you can use like a solid second of that Hachi ult to gain that bonus movement speed to start running at somebody like this and then shoot them at the very end of that ability. So you can use it to try to close some of the gap before you fire for the slow. Or right there, you saw me, you could use it as a getaway skill. Hello, 3 members of the enemy team. My name is Hachi, and I'm running away. Our set is over split pushing right lanes. I'm playing real far back with my 1, just using it for that poke. Gonna keep my dash up, not gonna use it aggressively here in this fight. Because this is technically a 5v4. That's a really good pickup, though, from our Suki. Running towards the enemy, popping my 1 for a little bit of bonus range, throwing down the 2 on top of myself, trying to chase out this Athena and Scylla right now. They're going to be able to get away, so I'm coming back for the Nem. I think she's going to dash this way. Her dash runs out of time, and so we can pick that up, no problemo. And now we should head over to the Fire Giant. We got a bunch pushed up. We got a Sylvanas for the heals. We shouldn't have an issue grabbing this Fire Giant. So you've got the bonus attack speed built into your kit. You got some CC immunity. You've got some dodges. You can throw down your 1 on the Fire Giant, get a little bonus damage there. Throw down that 2 for your whole team. So everybody can get some use out of that banner on the bonus damage. Wow, they really came over to contest this. That is crazy of them. This is super risky. So right now I'm going to try to, I actually have to be careful. I wanted to use my ulti to chase right there, but the Scylla Crush was going to be enough to kill me, so I got to chill. We can still do this. I'm going to throw down my ulti. I'm not going to fire right away. I'm going to use it to get way closer to that AMA. And now we can just go for the Phoenix. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't fire my ulti right away. I used it for the movement speed in order to get down the lane before I, switched over to actually firing the shot. The Phoenix had a whopping 4 HP left. Ooh, got a little Nemel on me. I'm gonna pop down an Aegis and try to run back toward my boys over here. And I might just be able to live through this. Sorry, Sylvanas, you're on your own, buddy. I'm backing up. I'm gonna get myself a full Deathbringer. If you're gonna build crit, I recommend for the most part committing to it. If you're a god that is a more ability-based hunter like Neath, maybe you build a Fail Knot and you don't commit to the crit, you just wanted like the cooldown and dependent stuff, that's fine. If you're gonna build a Rage, I would commit to your crit build. What that means for me is grabbing Rage, Deathbringer, and Wind Demon. So if you're gonna build the Rage, you might as well grab the Deathbringer for the extra crits. And if you're grabbing the Rage, you might as well grab the Wind Demon, which is gonna give you a bunch of attack speed and penetration for the crits that you're already going to be getting. The items just stack so well together. So if you're gonna start it off, you might as well finish what you're going for. So we are gonna sell our Hunter's Blessing for that Wind Demon. I'm gonna use my ulti once again to get me a little bit away from here. Turn around in order to get that shot off. Now I gotta be careful for the Jingwei, so I'm trying to attack this. Oh my gosh, she's got so many block stacks on her. Ooh, by the hair of my chinny chin chin was I inside of that Jingwei ult. That was a close one. Now we can sell the Hunter's Blessing, start working on the Wind Demon. This will, of course, give us more penetration, so we'll have that extra 10% pen on top of the 20 that we are getting from our Atalanta's bow. Make sure you're buying those sentry wards on every single back that you're doing. Even on your hunters, every role should be buying those sentry wards. So here, as we're moving into the later stages of the game, into the team fights, anybody that comes back on me in the back line is a fair target. I've been getting attacked by Nem quite a bit this game. She is one of the harder targets on their team for me to deal with. That's mostly just because Nem is such a good god right now. But if she uses her shield, I can try to stun it with my 3, try to get that shield off of her. But if AMA comes from me the back line, anybody, I can just try and turn those fights. I've got plenty of pen, I've got plenty of damage and life seal. That's just gonna come down to landing those auto attacks. Still wanting to chase on this one. There is no nemesis here, so I'm not afraid about any of that. But it looks like we're not gonna be able to continue this fight anymore. So what we should be doing is shoving up the middle lane, grabbing that T2, and then prepping ourselves for the next Fire Giant. That Fire Giant spawning in under a minute now. And so we want to make sure that we're ready for it. If we can grab this tier 2 in mid, then we can move right forward into the Phoenixes after we grab the next fire. We've also got the Jingwei dead.
Just give up already.
So this is kind of the range of poke that you're looking for on Hachi. You can throw out that one from a long way away. Try to get that damage out on your opponent. I'm a little scared of this Nem right now, so I'm trying to be a little careful here in the background. Luckily, the Nem got too aggressive right there. I'm going to ulti in the mid lane looking for the Athena. I do believe he dashed in and missed his dash, so I'm going to land that slow on him. Ooh, the Phoenix is on me, which is a bummer. I got to be careful for the Jingwei that flew into the side. But we can end this game as long as we play this a little bit careful. Jingwei is going to go down right there. Perfect. Who needs to go do the Fire Giant when you can end the game? So we played a little bit back right there, tried to get some poke off with our 1. Nem dove for us, so we dove back into our team, let them peel for us. And then we saw Athena out of position, so we used our ultimate at the end of that fight to chase her down, get the slow on her, make sure we could get that kill picked off, and then of course right back to hiding with the team. So our last item right there would have been that Wind Demon to grab the percent pen, and at the very end of the game, we would have sold our Warrior Tabite for, once again, another something that either had 10% pen on it, for something like an oboe is great at the end of the game for your team fights. Maybe you see that a bunch of the enemy team has actually been building HP instead of protections, and you're like, oh no, well, that's okay. You can still grab a Kins at the end of a game. You've got so many options. It's completely situational on Hunter with that 6th item. Sometimes it's even a defense item. Maybe you're getting killed by that Nem over and over again and you can't find a way to live, so you get yourself a Winged Blade or a Mantle of Discord to try and live on through it, guys. And that is our Hachiman ADC guide.